Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are going to talk about transforming your resume. We're going to take it from an old school document and turn it into a passport for the modern remote job market. So if you're looking for a role that gives you more freedom, more flexibility, you are absolutely in the right place. Let's get into it.
First things first, I want you to ask yourself a question. And be honest, is your current resume really built for a remote world? I mean, does it actually speak the language of remote hiring managers? Or is it kind of stuck in an old in-office mindset? We're about to find out.
So, here's our game plan. We'll start with the new rules of remote work. They've definitely changed. Then, we'll hit on the most crucial part, building trust before you even have a conversation. From there, it's hands-on. We'll upgrade your resume section by section, and yeah, we'll even show you how to beat those pesky resume screening robots. And finally, we'll zoom out and look at the bigger picture.
Okay, let's just start with a hard truth, right? In today's remote hiring world, which is incredibly competitive, your generic, one-size-fits-all resume, it's just not going to cut it anymore. It's failing.
You know, the whole game has changed. A hiring manager isn't just looking for someone who can do the job. They're looking for someone who can do the job independently, without someone looking over the shoulder. Your resume has to be the very first piece of evidence that you are that person, that you're self-directed, you're fluent in digital communication, and you're totally comfortable with the tools that make remote work, well, work.
And that brings us to a really crucial mindset shift. Your resume has a new #1 job, and that job is to build trust from a distance. You have to get in front of a hiring manager's biggest fears before they even have a chance to voice them.
I mean, think about it from their side for a second. They're about to take a leap of faith on someone they can't physically see in an office. Your resume needs to be the document that makes that leap feel safe, feel like a smart bet. It has to actively prove you can not only survive, but thrive without direct supervision.
And this right here, this is the whole ballgame. The old-school resume was built on the assumption that a manager would be right there watching over you. The remote resume, it flips that completely on its head. The focus has to be on proving your autonomy, showing you're a fantastic digital communicator, and basically that you're someone who can be trusted to get the job done from anywhere.
All right, enough theory. Let's get practical. How do we actually do this? Let's roll up our sleeves and walk through the most important sections of your resume, and I'll show you exactly how to upgrade them for maximum remote impact. Okay, your summary at the top, that's prime real estate. You cannot waste it. Right from the get-go, you need to signal that you are built for this. That means stating your target role, mentioning any remote experience, dropping in the names of tools you use like Slack or Trello, and please explicitly state that you're seeking a remote position. No ambiguity allowed.
Now, let's talk about the work experience section, because this is where so many people go wrong. Resumes are filled with these vague, passive lines like this one: handled customer inquiries. What does that even mean? It tells me you had a duty, not that you accomplished anything. And boom, here is the transformation. Instead of the weak handled, we use a strong action verb like resolved. Then we add what you did. Cleared 95% of inquiries on the first call, and here's the magic. The quantifiable result, improving satisfaction by 20%. See? That's data, that's proof, and that is what builds trust.
Here's another great example. Just look at how much work this one single bullet point does. It quantifies your impact, more than 25 clients. It names a key remote tool, Salesforce, and it even confirms you have a professional setup, a dedicated home office. That is the kind of powerful, efficient language you are aiming for.
Now, for your skills section, this distinction is absolutely crucial. You have to separate your hard skills, the tools like Slack or AWS, from your soft skills, which are all about the remote mindset, things like self-motivation and proactive communication. This shows a hiring manager that you get it. You understand both the what and the how of successful remote work. So, what does this all add up to? Well, it's about presenting yourself as a digital professional. See, it's not just about being an expert in marketing or engineering anymore. You have to prove you're an expert in the digital medium where all that work actually gets done. That's the new standard.
Okay, time to talk about a critical hurdle. Before any human being even lays eyes on your masterpiece of a resume, you have to get past the robots. I'm talking about the Applicant Tracking System, or ATS. That's right, the first gatekeeper is an algorithm. This software scans your resume for very specific keywords and formatting, and if it doesn't find what it's looking for, your application gets tossed in the digital trash can before a hiring manager ever even knows you exist.
So how do you beat the bots? It's actually a pretty simple 4-step process. 1. Mirror the keywords from the job description exactly. The software wants a perfect match.
2. Use standard, single-column formatting. Fancy tables and graphics will just confuse it. 3. Use boring, clear headings like work experience, not something clever. And finally, always, submit as a PDF. It locks everything in place so the machine reads it just the way you intended.
Now, it's really important to remember that your resume doesn't exist in a vacuum. To be truly effective, it has to be part of a bigger, consistent, and compelling professional brand that stretches across your cover letter and your LinkedIn profile, too. Think of it like an ecosystem, right? Your resume, that's the hard data, the quantifiable proof we talked about. The cover letter, that's where you tell your personalized story and connect with the company on a human level. And your LinkedIn profile, that's your living, breathing brand that builds your credibility over time. They all have to work together.
I love this idea of the cover letter as a narrative bridge. It's so true. In remote hiring, it's tough to build that personal connection. This letter is your one chance to go beyond the data points on the resume and tell the story of why you are the perfect fit for their specific team and their way of working.
And this same thinking applies to LinkedIn, where tiny changes can have a huge impact. I mean, just look at the difference here. Going from a generic title to one that includes the word remote, and specific skills like Slack and CRM expert makes you instantly discoverable to recruiters who are searching for those exact terms. It's a game changer.
So let's lock all this in with a final checklist. If you take away nothing else, remember these 5 things. 1. Tailor every single application. 2. Demonstrate your autonomy with proof. 3. Quantify your impact with numbers. 4. Master the ATS so a human actually sees your resume. And 5. Build a consistent brand across all your platforms. Get these right and you are way ahead of the competition.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Is your resume just a record of your past, or is it a passport to your remote future? When you get it right, it can unlock everything. Thanks so much for joining us.